Hey, welcome back to Black Lab Garage. Behind me here I've got a Ford GT40 head. Now a lot of people get confused and have problems when they try to swap valve springs or change cams and stuff and have to buy these funky special retainers and keepers and all that. Well, if I told you there's a way that you don't have to do that and it's cheaper. Ready? Come on, let's get into it. This is a GT40 head, not a GT40P, but a GT40. Number one, you can see the GT here, and you see the 3 bars right there. So that tells you it is a GT40 head. Now, I got these heads probably 20 years ago. The problem is the machine shop that I used, when I had him converted to screw-in studs, every one of these is off. You know, so the rocker arm be like here. I actually had to cut the guide plates and re-weld them, trying to straighten them up. So I ended up never using them. But since you can now get adjustable guide plates very easily, I dug these back out. And there's a reason why I dug these out, and I'll tell you at the end of the video. See, the problem is, which this is just a regular stock E70E head, but it's the same difference on the GT40 heads. You see the exhaust valve right here, how it has this rotator. You see the intake valve. You see the difference in the retainers. There's a difference, I can't even talk, in the location of the keeper guide. Or keeper slot, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, this slot right here. You can see the intake valve next to an exhaust valve. You see the difference? Well, the reason they do that is, look at the difference in the valve springs. This is the intake valve spring, that's the exhaust valve spring. See how much difference there is in the height? Now we add that rotator on. Then we add the retainer for the intake valve on. And you can see they are back to being the same height. But it requires 2 different grooves on the valves to make it equal out. So what people have been doing for years, TrickFlow does offer a kit that has different keepers, and the locks have a different height inside of them that moves the retainer up. And the retainer itself may be different too, I'm not sure. I think the retainers are different between the intake and the exhaust on them. But that kit is like 150 bucks to be able to retain your stock exhaust valve. Well, I got to thinking 20 years ago, because I never bought that kit, that there had to be another way to do it. And there is, and it's an easy way, and it's very simple. I've never heard anybody else ever mention it. I'm not saying there's not, but I've never heard anybody else mention doing this. So looking at the valve sizes, your E70E head's 178, 1.46. GT40's 1.84 and 1.54 on the exhaust. GT40P's 1.84 on the intake and 1.46 on the exhaust. So we need a 1.54, since these are GT40 heads, that matches the intake. Well, there's the intake. Look at this exhaust. Boom. And if you're wondering, the overall length of both of those valves are 5.07. So they are the same overall length. And the keeper guide or keeper groove is the same. So what is that valve out of? That is a 1.54 exhaust valve out of a 1969 Ford 351 Windsor. Because basically the GT40 head is a pretty close copy of the 69, 70, the early model Windsor heads, except they have a round exhaust port instead of the square exhaust port of the early Windsor heads. But outside of that, they're pretty close. So I bought a set of these to put in it 20 years ago. But here's the thing, you can buy these valves for $4 a piece. It's like $4 and some change, but literally a third of what it costs to buy you that funky retainer and keeper kit. A third. And you're getting the same end result. And most of these, by now, the heads need to be taken apart and have a valve job and stuff done anyway. So why would you not change the exhaust valve and get it corrected at a third of the price? And you get a new exhaust valve in the process. Now I know some of you are saying, but you get valve springs with that kit. And here's the thing, valve springs aren't that expensive unless you're buying like triple valve springs or something like that. Then yeah, you're running into some money, but just regular stockish type valve springs, if you run a flat tappet cam or something, they're not that expensive. So you still come out cheaper doing this than you would buying that funky kit. And did I mention you get new exhaust valves? So let me show you here. I want to install these just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, just in case you're wondering, these are the valve springs and retainers I'm using. This is an old set of Crane valve springs and retainers that I picked up for like $50. They're new, but I mean, so take the 69 351 Windsor valve. I don't know if y'all noticed or can see it very good, but I did have all these back cut years ago. Put those on. You don't want to leave your valve stem seals off, trust me. I'm going to grab my valve spring compressor. And there's that. Now let me lay his head down and I'll show you. Now look, valve stem height is exactly the same. And we're just using regular plain retainers. Nothing special here. Now some of you are asking yourselves right now, or maybe even screaming at your phone or TV at me, why are you even fooling with those GT40 heads when you have those new aluminum heads and all that Windsor stuff? And you're right. But it'll take a little while to get all the machine work done for that Windsor, because it's got to be bored, deck, line hung, everything has to be balanced and stuff. Machine shops are covered up these days. So I needed to I thought about just putting the 302 together, because I had the motor come out of that white Mustang. It was fuel injected, but rats that eat the harness, but the motor didn't knock or anything. And the Mustang engines, they had forged pistons and stuff. They're not bad to wear the cylinders out because they had low tension metric rings. So I thought about throwing a motor together to where I could at least make it mobile. It could be movable again. But there's also a bigger reason behind this. It's been a little rough here for Black Lab. For any of you that know me personally, you know that my younger brother died back in April. Buried him on April the 10th. Well, it was a week ago yesterday that I buried my dad. I had to switch arms there. I started shaking. But it's been a little rough here for the past couple months. But my dad, number one, I don't know of a bigger Ford person than he was. He'd flat out tell you, if it wasn't Ford, it wouldn't. okay? But he loved flat tappet solid camshafts. Loved them. He did not like rollers. So I thought about taking this 302, and I'm going to show you how cheap you can actually build a good 302, but I'm also going to build this in a tribute to him, because we are going to make it a solid flat tappet engine. And I know somebody say, oh God, it'll eat the camshaft. No, it won't. Just watch, trust me. But let me show you some of the parts that I plan on using. Like I said, we're still going to do the Windsor, but it's going to take a while because of the machine work and stuff. So I can throw this together and throw in the car to at least make it mobile. So let me show you what we're going to do to build an old school cool 302. First and foremost, remember I had that Crowler solid lifter camshaft. It's actually what they used to call the Baron series. So that is the camshaft we're going to use, a solid flat tappet camshaft. And say what you want, I'm sorry, but 16 little solid flat tappets, that's music. I don't care what anybody says. Some people don't like the noise. No, I think it's music. Who cares about having to adjust the valves every 5,000-10,000 miles? Big deal. It doesn't take long. But, and that cam, its power range in a 302, I think it says 3,000 to 7,000. Its duration at 50 thousandths is 240 on the intake and 240 on the exhaust. So it should talk a little bit. Oh, with 108 lobe separation. So it should talk a little bit and have a little scratch to it. Intake wise, this is an old Edelbrock Torquer 289 intake. I need to clean it up, and it has been cut. I had it cut years ago to match these GT40 heads, because those heads have been cut. Honestly, I can't remember if it's either 30 or 40 thousandths. I think it's 40 thousandths they've been cut. As you can see here, the thumbprint is almost gone in the bottom of the heads, and it actually started cutting away at the numbers that are cast into the heads. So I think it was 40 thousandths they were cut. But anyway, this intake is cut to match. So all the old school 289s and 302s had one of these on them, and they do work good on the street. I mean, is there better intakes now? Yeah. These were good for their time, and they still work good. Ignition wise, some of you older guys will recognize these. Yes, it's a Maori, but look carefully. It is a Maori dual point. Dad gave me that distributor not too long ago. I mean, yeah, I've got MSD and I've got Maori electronic distributors. I've even got an Excel electronic distributor. But he gave me that distributor. And I know he liked these distributors. He used to run one in a 66 2+2 fastback that he had. Had a 289. Actually had the original tri-power setup on it. Because with it, you had to run one of those crab style caps to clear the breather or the air filter assembly and stuff. I don't know if you can even buy those crab style distributor caps for those distributors anymore. But like I said, he gave me that, and I know they work. So I just thought it was another thing of that to an old school cool 302. And valve covers, he gave me these Edelbrocks not too long ago. I mean, they need to be cleaned up, but you know, there's nothing wrong with them. I was going to throw them on it. So that's my plan, just to make the car mobile. And yes, I'll put the engine together, I'll record it, and I'll crank it up. I may even crank it on an engine stand and break it in just to let you watch it, and you're just going to sit there and watch and see if it eats the camshaft or if it lives. But I'll go ahead and tell you, it'll live. But yeah, I guess all I can say is add distance for you. And it should make a pretty good little motor. It'll sound good and run good for what it is. So I hope y'all understand. And hey, take a minute, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the super thanks if you want. I'll never turn down free monies so I can buy more dog food. But I really do. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate those of you that are understanding. And you know, I know a lot of you know what it's like. But stay tuned. Me and the pups will be back with another one. And listen more Goose Creek. See you.